Hi Mrs Mitchell's group. This week in maths we will be looking at 2D shapes. What I would first like you to think about is what is the difference between a 2D shape and a 3D shape. Pause the video while you discuss this. And next, are these shapes on the screen 2D or 3D? And can you name the shapes? Pause the video while you decide. Okay, so this purple shape here, this is called a cylinder, and this is a 3D shape. This here is a square and it's a 2D shape. 2D shapes include all of these, and they are shapes that are flat. So a 2D shape is called a flat shape, and 2D stands for two-dimensional. It's got two measurements. These here are 3D shapes. They are shapes that have length, width and height, and they are three-dimensional. Have a look at the shapes at the top. They've been numbered from 1 to 9. Can you draw yourself a table like this and put the numbers under the correct heading? Are they 2D or 3D? If you think number 1 is a 2D shape, you'd put a number 1 in here. If you think number 1 is a 3D shape, you'd write the number 1 in this column. Pause the video while you complete this. Let's see if you are right. So number 1, it's a 3D shape. It's not a flat shape. I can see a length, a depth and a height. It's got 3 different measurements, so it's a 3D shape. Number 2, it's got a length and a width. It's a square, and that's a 2D shape. It's got 2 measurements, length times width. Number 3 has got length, width and height, or length, depth and height. So it's got 3 measurements, which means it's a 3D shape. Number 4 has also got length, depth and height. It's got 3 measurements, so number 4 is a 3D shape. Number 5 we've said it's a cylinder and it's a 3D shape. Number 6 is a flat shape, so that's 2D. Number 7 is a flat shape. Number 8 is a 3D shape, and number 9 is a flat shape. It's a 2D shape. Well done if you got these right. So our focus this week will be on 2D shapes, and there's lots and lots of 2D shapes, but these below are just some of them. Squares, triangles, circles, pentagons, rectangles, hexagons, and octagons. You also have things like trapeziums, diamonds, kites. There's lots and lots of 2D shapes. Let's first focus on a square. What do you know about squares? Pause the video while you tell somebody in your family what you know about squares. Okay, so I know about squares that there are 4 sides. All 4 sides are the same length. And also, if you know about angles, there are 4 right angles on a square. 4 sides, all the same length. How many squares can you see below? So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. What are these 3 called? So these 3 shapes are called rectangles, and then we have got 2 of these, and these are triangles. How many of the shapes below are not squares? How many are not squares? Pause the video while you work it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tick the squares. This is a square, this is a square, and this is a square because it's got 4 sides and they're all the same length. This here is a rectangle, so that's not a square. Triangle is not a square. This is called a trapezium. That's not a square. This is a triangle, so it's not a square. This here has got 6 sides. That's a hexagon, so it's not a square. And this is a star, and this has got 10 sides, so that's not a square. So how many of the shapes are not squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are not squares. Now I want you to have a look at this. This is called a Venn diagram. So it's a way to sort shapes. Everything that needs to go inside this whole circle can be a 4-sided shape. Everything inside this circle is going to be a square. Anything that goes in the middle is going to be shapes that are 4-sided and squares. I'd like you to draw these shapes on a piece of paper, draw the Venn diagram, and see if you can sort them. Any shapes that don't fit into either category need to stay on the outside. Pause the video while you have a go. Okay, let's make a start. So this here is a 4-sided shape. It's a trapezium. It's not a square because all the sides aren't the same length. So it's 4-sided, and it's going in this circle, but it's not a square, so it goes here. This here is called a rhombus, and it's basically a wonky square. It's a square that's been pushed over. So it's got 4 sides, but it's not a square. It goes in this bit. This here is a square, and obviously a square has got 4 sides, so it's going to be in here. This here is a rectangle. It's got 4 sides, but it's not a square, so it goes here. This here is a diamond. It's got 4 sides, but it's not a square. Even if I spin it around, you'll see that it's still not a square, so it needs to go in here. This is an oval. It doesn't have 4 sides, and it's not a square, so it needs to stay on the outside. Notice that there's nothing in this section, and that's because all squares have got 4 sides. Well done if you got that right. Now this is your last slide. You've got some challenges to do. How many squares can you see all together in the picture? Pause the video while you count them. Let's have a look. So we've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, tiny one here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I've got this one all around the outside. So I have counted 10. If you count anything different, then let me know. And your last challenge is to find 5 items in your house that are squares and write down the items that you have found. See you tomorrow for some more shape work.